championship, but he's a very consistent and talented player. I feel like Season 2 may be his year.
Okay, well, and we have him on the deck that I have picked the ink colors to win. We've got Emerald, Sapphire, and over here on the right, we have Drew with Amber, Emerald. Most likely dogs.
Most likely some dogs going to be up in here, although I do see that Horseman Strikes in the deck. Very interesting, a card that you certainly see in the Amber Amethyst decks. Not really all the time in dogs, but I have noticed it once or twice before. Horseman Strikes is very good for getting rid of some of the most must-answer cards in the game, Zebex, like Sharks, Genies, Dumbos, etc.
Yeah, and going into this first game of the round 3, our players don't know what each other are playing. Looks like both of our players are altering 3 cards over for Drew, maybe 1 for Jake. Of course, this is their opportunity to fix any uninkables, make sure that they have exactly what they want. You know, dogs, of course, doesn't need very much to go very far.
No, not at all. We could set 2 ink if we like. So, yeah, this altar, one of the most powerful and appealing things about the digital kind of trading card game. You draw 7, and then any of those cards that you do not like, you can put at the bottom of your deck. You draw back up to 7, so you will never draw the exact copies that you just altered away. You may draw a different copy of it in the deck if there are more, but it won't be those same ones. Draw up to 7, and then we're going to shuffle our deck. So a way to, as you said, Zebex, fix that hand of those uninkables and things like that. Find the curve.
Definitely one of my favorite parts of this game, getting to alter my hand and just get even sometimes a brand new grip of 7 cards.
Absolutely. So hey, especially if you're running a Sapphire deck, if you don't see that turn 2 ramp, I'm shipping them all back, Zebex. I'm sending them. I'm looking for my turn 2 ramp, because if I don't find it, I probably lose.
And it looks like maybe Drew won the die roll here. We don't know which player is going first,
but we'll find out very shortly. I think it's Jake, just based on the way that he is altering his hand, shuffling his hand around. I may be wrong, but no,
okay.
Jake Quincy on the play, which is what you want, because this dog's deck is very fast and this Sapphire deck is very slow.
And with a card speeding it up right away, develop your brain. How does this affect his play into that ramp?
Essentially helping you find ramp if you don't already have it. I do see that Jake Quincy does have that sail in hand already, so some players may choose to not play the develop and just hold it for ink, but that says to me that Jake Quincy is looking to tailor his hand a little bit more. Maybe he doesn't have a follow-up after that turn 2 ramp, so just looking to increase the quality of his hand.
Excellent. And we're about to see our first play going over a Daisy Duck Donald's date. So good. She quests for 2 right away.
Sure do.
And how about that willpower, right?
1-4 on a 1-drop questing for 2. She does have a minor drawback. The big prize when she quests, your opponent looks at the top card of the deck, or reveals the top card of the deck, should I say, and if it's a character, it can go into the hand. But that's the thing. A lot of decks that play Daisy say, I don't care how many cards you have, I'm just winning the game. I'm questing out as soon as possible. So
2 on the board on turn 2 is a great way to start, especially when your opponent hasn't played a character, when they are playing those actions to get forward.
Absolutely.
So right now, if it were just Daisy Duck doing her thing, no other character, she would win the game. But of course, that's not how this match is going to go. We're going to see some more ink going into the inkwell.
I do see another Daisy in the hand by Drew. Do we have a triple? Are we going to see the triple Daisy Duck opening? Because that, for the Sapphire player, I think is back-breaking. We're going to ink, you're welcome.
Yeah, with the dogs being able to recover so well, maybe we don't need that. We know we're going to be pretty low to the ground. Going to be looking out for some other cards like Under the Sea, potentially late game. Wait for them to build up their board. We need to see more things on board before we can really determine what cards we're going to keep. Oh, there goes the second Daisy.
Oh, not quite the triple Daisy, but still a pretty brutal opening for Drew. The second Daisy Duck coming down, the lady coming down, who of course quests for another 1 if there's a tramp on board. That Daisy quests, and the big prize for Jake is a Cinderella dream come true.
Yep. And it does. I can't see if there's a tramp in hand right now, but with so many different copies in this dog's deck, I would not be surprised if we see one following it shortly behind. Lady and the Tramp do go quite well together.
Sure do. I'm loving these Fiend decks as well, where, again, built around a specific franchise, right? Like Lady and the Tramp, I think, is the main one that we have that really plays into a specific film. So, yeah, I'm a big fan. This is not what you want to see if you're Jake Quincy, to be honest.
Visions of the future.
Yeah, you really wanted to be inking for that turn and then playing maybe a Donald Duck Perfect Gentleman, maybe a Cinderella Dreams Come True. We will still be able to ink and then play a 2-drop or a couple of 1s, but maybe we can hyper ramp with like another Sail or a T-Po.
But besides his regular draws from his deck, that's already 7 additional cards that he's gotten to take a look at. So he is really searching for something that he does not have in hand right now.
Yeah, it's certainly pressure on. All gas, no brakes already from Drew Graham, and these Sapphire decks are traditionally pretty slow. But that being said, Zbex, previous round, me and Brent, we watched the Sapphire deck beat the deck, the Speci Special, the Burn green-purple deck, which really is looking to prey on the Sapphire deck. So it's not over.
No, the Emerald Sapphire deck cannot be counted out this early in the game. As we've seen in earlier matches and building up this Inkwell to be much larger, we're going to get to see a Clarabelle, Clumsy Guess, and that is the card that we want out there early because, of course, we have that Shift Clarabelle.
Absolutely.
Which, will he be able to get into the Shift Clarabelle on his next turn?
Yes, absolutely. It's Shift 5 for Clarabelle, so we already have that 5 ink.
Nicely set up.
Not sure how many cards Jake will draw off of it, but more importantly, establishing a 5/6 body, 5 strength, 6 willpower to be able to punch one of these Daisy Ducks or indeed the Lady. Probably the Daisy is going to be the high priority with that quest.
Take care of that too, absolutely.
But if a Tramp comes down, then I think that actually becomes different because at least Daisy Duck is giving you cards.
Yes.
So, and Lady is a shift option for Drew as well. So even though Daisy may appear to be the more threatening card, and then sometimes she is, you also need to respect these ladies.
Well, yes, ladies absolutely deserve respect. And we're getting just a pair of characters at a time. 2 Daisy Ducks, 2 ladies.
First trigger,
Elegant
Clarabelle.
Spaniel.
Oh, and
there
another
she
one.
is. Wow. We wanted to see it, and there it was. So we're going to be seeing it coming down for sure.
Yep.
On this next turn for Jake. I would be surprised if he went any other way.
It depends what else he's got in his hand, but I mostly agree with you. I think that's probably what we're going to see, unless Jake Quincy wants to set up a more efficient turn for next turn, maybe establishing a Prince Philip or something like that.
Oh,
if
yes.
If he's got the 3-drop, that could shift in, then he could shift it next turn. But I think it's more than likely he's going to be forced to just shift and get rid of one of these daisies, because Drew already at 8 lore with 2, 4, 5, 6... Well, technically, both of these ladies are questing for 2, so it's 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 lore on board, Zbex. We going. We off.
We are definitely going. And then down there on the bottom of the screen, we also have a Tramp Enterprising Dog that we can't count out either.
Yep.
So there's 5 characters to deal with.
That's why they're both questing for 2. Yeah, this Tramp is no pushover.
They're sharing a plate of spaghetti and enjoying all of the sauce.
Absolutely. Oh, it got me hungry now, Z-Bags. I think I'm going to eat some spaghetti for my dinner, but that's going to be later. We're only in round 3. If you're only just joining us, welcome to the Disney Lorcana trading card game. We are here. Disney Lorcana Challenge, Richmond, Virginia. This is round 3. We've got 8 rounds of Swiss today. Tomorrow we will have 4 more rounds of Swiss and then a cut to top 32. Those 32 players will qualify for national championships, the North American National Championships, and the overall winners, Z-Bex. Where are they going? Where are they going?
They're going to Disney World!
Absolutely. Well, at least a world. It was in Disney World last time.
It was true. We don't have the full
I'm hoping
information.
It's in Disney World. We'll see.
It's just like all of those commercials we saw growing up, right?
Absolutely.
Where are you going to Disney World? I thought we were about to see the Clarabelle thrown down right there, and then a hesitation. We're going to take a moment to make sure that that's the right play with the number of characters in play on the other side of the board.
Yeah, this seems like a very pivotal turn for Jake. Again, got to make that decision about whether we're going to play Clarabelle. But no,
Cinderella, dream come true. Yeah. He wants to be able to get some extra ink into his Inkwell by playing a princess character this turn, which could, as you mentioned before, set up a later turn to deal with everything that we have on the opposite side.
Yeah, and this will get us closer to maybe a Prince Philip without a shift. I don't think we can do it next turn, but the turn after we might be able to. And again, it's establishing another singer, right? So I think Jake is saying, okay, this is dangerous. I'm letting you get a lot of lore here, but this is hopefully going to set me up for a better turn next turn to deal with your board. And like, because if you just played the Clarabelle, if Drew had something random like a You're Welcome or whatever.
Oh, that would be devastating.
Not something you expect to see in dogs, but that's not my point, right? Like, people bring spice. And
well, and I really like what he did. Instead of just playing one Clarabelle, getting rid of one card from his hand, he had a full hand almost. It looked like 6 or 7 cards. So 100%. By inking a card, playing 2 characters, now if he does move to play the Clarabelle, light on her hooves, he'll get a lot more cards, a lot more card advantage from that, which we love to see that in this Emerald Sapphire deck. Oh, that's one of my favorite things to do, draw cards any day. You just walk up and hand me a card, I'll take it, I'll be happy.
I will take it, 100%. Was that the
Oh, it's we've got, it's,
we play...
I was not looking, and I see that it is a character that can quest for 2. We've got 6 willpower. Now, how well do you know your character stats? What's an Emerald character with 6 willpower?
Well, Clarabelle, but...
Yeah, you wouldn't expect to see it in the dog's deck,
Well,
though.
exactly, and there's not enough ink for it anyway, so there's no way that it's that.
Now it's...
Oh, it's Tramp Street Smart Dog. I'm a fool. I'm a fool of a
just up in the player camera there for those of you watching on stream. We can see it just in front of his left hand there on the table.
Yeah, it is the Street Smart Dog Dual Ink Tramp. 7 cost, 2/6, quest for 2. You pay 1 ink less to play him for every other character on the board. So with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 characters, that means that we're only playing 2 for this Street Smart Dog. And then when you play him, you draw cards equal to the amount of other characters you having on board, and then discard that many. So that means Drew is drawing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards and will be forced to discard that many, which you may be thinking, well, what's the point of drawing? You're filtering your hand, you're finding the most key pieces, and yeah, just digging through the deck. Yeah, this Tramp makes this dog deck come together.
A lot of times, this could be the moment where the Emerald deck, gets the collar, the Tramp gets accepted into the house, where you can just go through and find another Tramp or whatever other character you need. But we love to just see them filtering through multiple Tramps. We've seen it before. Is that what he's going to do now?
Gets rid of an Under the Sea, another Tramp. There's a couple of ladies there, both the Spaniel and the Floodborn. So there's some pretty good cards. I'd love to know what Drew's kept there.
Yeah, not enough ink available to do anything this turn.
Unless he wants to ink, but...
It's true.
Again, not always the priority for the dogs deck. They can just sit at 2 ink. We did a little flash there, but I didn't quite catch it. Is that Daisy? Yeah,
There's another Daisy, our third Daisy
I'm
duck.
surprised to not see the Lilo
The Lilo
discarded.
Escape Artist.
I'm surprised to not see that discarded, because the ability of Lilo brings it back from the discard at the beginning of it. Well, again, you have to pay the ink to do it, but certainly interesting. Deciding this Under the Sea isn't going to be doing a lot. It would wipe the board as it is, but as soon as these Clarabelles shift, then you are not getting swept away. Washed away, should I say.
Well, and the characters on board weren't quite strong enough to sing together, so why would you waste it anyway? If you can outmatch your opponent by getting more characters on the board, I mean, he's already up to 8 lore. He's almost to halfway to winning. A 1 or 2 turn clock here?
Yeah, dogs can generate like these pressure clock turns very quickly, basically, and say, hey,
let's quest.
You need to answer me next turn or the turn after. We do find that Prince Philip, and that happened last time. We got Clarabelle into Big Clarabelle, and now we see Prince Philip into Big Prince Philip.
Wow.
Is it too little too late, though, Zebex? Drew at 17 lore.
I think it might be a little bit too late. We'll see if anything can make the difference, but Drew just needs to get past an Under the Sea off the top, or... I feel like he's got the door open to be able to potentially go 1-0 into the next game.
Possibly. We are going to see that shift Clarabelle coming down light on her hooves. That's going to cost 5 ink to shift onto the Big Clarabelle. She has a 5/6 beat stick. Do we have something else? Oh, and it is going to be a round
Under the Sea. That's
sea.
going to send all opposing characters with strength 2 or less down to the bottom of Drew's library. And goodness, now he has no characters remaining on board to get that final 3 lore to get game. Now, Jake's looking in a really great position, especially with those princes we just saw.
And worth pointing out, with Under the Sea, your opponent does get to choose the order of which they go under your deck. So
Which dogs is probably one of the only decks currently where that matters a lot.
It depends how quickly you can get through the deck, right? Nonetheless, it is Jake's choice, so that's why you saw him just pick up those cards and organize it himself.
That's right.
Inking a big Prince Philip, and down comes a little one. That says to me there's another big one in hand. And if we have a Malicious, Mean, and Scary, then that's a nice answer to whatever Drew plays here. Again, kind of shocked to have not seen the Lilo go into the discard pile last turn, to be honest. But we do only have 2 ink. It is actually going to be inked now.
So maybe we needed to save it for ink. We see a Mowgli Man Cub come down, which will let us get the action out of your hand, develop your brain. Let's get it out of here. It's in the banish.
That's 3 lore set up, though, and there was no Malicious... Oh, he finds the Malicious, Mean, and Scary on the top of the deck. Look at Drew's face. Look at Drew's face here, because he just revealed the hand with Mowgli, and there was no Malicious.
Oh, That's so brutal when
yeah.
you have just gotten to take hand disruption, but the card off the top was the one that you really wanted to yank out of there. Those Rapunzel guys, oh, they are certainly singing a mean song today.
That was huge because I don't think that Jake had anything else in his hand to be able to interrupt the Mowgli and the Daisy Duck on the board.
But Drew has 2 more characters back down. Unfortunately, John Silver, our alien pirate, is going to force them to challenge, have Reckless.
Yep.
So we're not going to be able to quest with Lilo, maybe only get up to 18, but at that point, are you even turning Bobby sideways?
But Jake's win next turn.
Geez.
He's got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. A lot of lore. That's a whole lot of lore. And there's the fist bump. Dan, that malicious, mean, and scary off the top was humongous, Seabex.
So game 1 is actually going over to Jake, to my surprise. I thought for sure Drew Dogs had that one going home.
Yeah, very easily could have, though. That malicious, mean, and scary at the right time was humongous. Worth saying, Jake was on the play during that game. That does certainly matter. Drew will be on the play this time, and I would bet we will see a game 3.
I also would be
Dogs on
pretty
the play
sure we see a game 3.
against Green-Blue is tough.
Very fast. One of the stronger aggro decks that we have in the format right now, of course, there are other aggro decks, but we're really seeing it to rise from the top. We don't see a lot of Kiwi. Even though I love the Amethyst Emerald, I think the Dogs is currently positioned a little bit stronger.
Yeah, a lot of big, very talented players have picked Dogs to be their winner of the overall event, and it's hard to argue with them. So aggressive, but it can have those combo challenge turns again, using things like Tramp to boost the strength of your characters, using things like Under the Sea. So yeah, I think Dogs is super well positioned, and it's the reason a lot of people brought it today.
Yes, and we're going to see both of our players open up with a new hand of 7 cards, do their altering, see what we can get here. We've got Bobby potentially as a 1-drop, but that's usually not the card that you're going to play first in Dogs. I would expect that to be going into the Inkwell immediately. We got Dogs. The deck is named Dogs. We're going to play Dogs.
Dogs. Drew on the play, looking to ink, and I'm seeing that Bobby Zimmer.
Maybe he is going to dig. Nah, we're going to see a lady.
The decisive
dog.
Yeah, tell us about this lady.
Oh, well, she can get bigger the more characters that you play. And by bigger, I mean gaining you more lore.
Okay.
Which is exactly what we want to do.
Yeah, pack of her own, meaning that whenever you play a character, she gets +1 strength. So, and there are other characters in the deck, like I think there's a Webby in hand for Drew who...
also a
on play, it gives extra strength to a character. So if you play the Webby, then he gives extra strength to Lady. Then her pack of her own triggers, she goes up to 2 strength. And then you've got another ink where you can play another 1-drop character. And suddenly she's questing for 3. And of course, sets up a shift line for the big lady. Down comes another lady and the Tramp. And that is that
Elegant Spaniel plus the Tramp will get us there to be able to make Lady quest for 3.
Certainly will. She gets 2 strength from pack of her own. And the Tramp targeting the decisive dog with an extra strength buff. We quest him for 3.
We love that.
Inking the Donald.
And we see a Tipo growing sun for Jake. We want to continue ramping early in the game. Make sure we get lots of Inkwell into our Inkwell.
Absolutely. That's the name of the game when you're a Sapphire. That's why you play Sapphire. Well, I suppose Hades is the premier removal in the game, which I have feelings about. But Sapphire is very strong, basically, is the long and short of it. If you're new to Disney Lorcana, let me tell you. Let me talk to you. Sapphire's pretty good.
Yeah, and of course, the Hades that you're mentioning was originally printed in the first chapter, but we got it reprinted and fabled, so we get to see some of these all-stars back around again, and players are definitely including them in their deck lists this weekend.
Sure. Yeah, ever since Ruby lost its position in the game as the premier removal deck, we no longer. Instead, Hades is that removal deck, and Red Purple, we're a curve and turn them sideways deck. How things have changed. I wonder what things are going to look like a year from now. Hey, Amber will be the control deck next year. Don't at me. Don't at me. All right, you can at me. It's fine.
Okay, well, we'll see what ink color they might give card draw to next. That would definitely switch it up, right?
Card draw is good. Amethyst does it better than any other deck, though. Again, all of the inks in Lorcana having their own identity. Sapphire being able to accelerate your inking. Amethyst being very good at drawing cards. Ruby typically was the banishing characters color, and it still kind of is. It still has those banishing
Well, and
cards,
Emerald
right?
can also be typically a discard theme. We
Most
see
typically.
Clara Clarabelle, clumsy guest coming down.
Kind of the all-rounder, I think, Emerald. It does a little bit of everything,
Can get
right?
rid of items, can get rid of cards in players' hands.
Yep. Amber, obviously, a lot of cards that can heal or pay less for characters, things like that. And, of course, Steel.
Take off damage as well.
Absolutely. And Steel specializing in doing chip damage to characters.
Direct damage.
Direct damage of things like Fire the Cannon, Strength of a Raging Fire, Tinkerbell Giant Fairy, list goes on.
Yes. But none of those Steel cards here in this match right now. We saw a pass back to Drew.
Mulling it over for a moment. I think Drew is considering he hasn't played anything yet. He's really mulling this over. He's got 3 characters on board that are all free to quest. We are going to ink. I see a tramp in hand. I see the Miss Park Avenue Shift Lady. What's coming down? It's going to be that Go-Go.
Tamago. Okay,
Yep.
we're not going to rely on that. But we're going to get an Ursula Deceiver. We want to get another action out of hand, please.
It has to be a song, though, and there is a spooky sight in hand, but that is not a song. It is an action. Ooh. So an unfortunate miss there from Drew. We see the big Clarabelle, the big Philip.
That's right. Ursula wants to take your voice away. So
sure does. She sure does. You'll never even miss it. You'll never even miss it, is what she says. And Jake Quincy says, I ain't missing anything, mate. I got no songs here. You ain't touching my spooky sight. And that spooky sight is actually very good card in this matchup. It puts all characters of 3 strength or less that are on the board into the inkwell. That would include Jake's, though. It'd get rid of his Clarabelle and his Tipo, but it would remove everything Drew has in play.
Well, he's still at least 1 turn off, and I say 1 because Cinderella Dream Comes True will come down again and help us get another ink into the inkwell for playing a princess. So do you think we're going to see that spooky side on Jake's next turn? I mean, with 5 characters over there?
A lot of potential for it, depending on what Drew may be incentivized to even hold back a little on this next turn because he knows that spooky sight is there, and if he just empties his hand and then it all goes into the inkwell, then that's not the position you want to be in. Not in Lore.
But you have the information, so you can take that with stride, take it on a walk.
Very good. Very, very good.
And I think we're just going to see probably some questing here. Why would you waste challenging when you know you have an action in hand that can just dominate?
Depends how much lore you want to keep off the board, right? Because you can't play the spooky sight until next turn. So Jake will have done the math here to see how much lore Drew has the potential to get next turn.
That's right. The dogs early on already up to 9 lore on the board. That's a fast start compared to where Jake's at with 0. But as we saw last game, even with the dogs slightly ahead right now.
The Clarabelle and the Tipo were considering a double challenge into the lady, but Jake thinking about it a little longer. He's actually not going to do that.
Leave them ready.
Passes his turn, triggers the Cinderella to ink a card, draw a card, and passes back.
Oh, and Drew got another Ursula Deceiver, which we know won't necessarily help against Spooky Sight. Not the answer we were looking for off the top.
Not really. Jake has drawn 2 cards since then, so it might be worth a look. But the other card is the Miss Park Avenue, which we can shift, but there's nothing in the discard for us to get back. So may still be worth it, though. Just, again, get more lore on the board, and that 4/4 stat line for Miss Park Avenue is not bad.
Yeah, you can really see Drew considering it here, knowing he's in a little bit of a tough spot, knowing what might be coming down next turn. I think if I were him, I would just hold back. Oh, it's so tough.
You have to quest here. You absolutely
get the points.
You have to do some questing here 100%.
You can't challenge, so you must quest.
Plus, to be fair, shifting this lady means that's 1 less card that is going to be removed by the spooky sight, because at the moment, everything on Drew's board will go into the inkwell, whereas if we shift here, that keeps us a character.
Okay, and Lady Miss Park Avenue
4,
coming
5, 6,
down,
7.
So we will get to return a couple characters. But we don't have any in the discard, so we actually don't, as you said.
Yeah, no characters for us, but we are able to quest for 7, going up to 16.
Oh, wow.
So the pressure is on. Jake is going to be able to play that Spooky Sight if he chooses, but he needs to deal with the lady first. And because Spooky Sight would get rid of his own Tipo and Clarabelle, he may be forced here to go into the lady with everything and then play the Spooky Sight.
I mean, that would be worth it. We've seen how Emerald Sapphire likes to get past that first portion of turns in the game. If it can get past a certain point, it's just going to run away. And if his top decks keep being like they were in game 1, I mean, right now,
Hades into Philip,
yeah,
into this, into this, into
Jake
this.
is really winning the top deck match if there ever was a contest to see who could top deck better.
For sure. This is interesting because, again, you can ram everything into the lady, and then you can spooky sight and clear Drew's entire board. But that would give up your Clarabelle, which is an important piece because it's a shift target.
And
so,
he does have the Clarabelle light on her hooves in his hand, ready to put it there. So
but you can't do both, unfortunately.
You have to choose.
You have to choose. You can't shift the Clarabelle and play the spooky sight. So I think he's going to be forced into it here. It depends what sort of challenging we could do, because these tramps with 1-3 stat lines and the Ursula, like, that's super tough for this board to deal with. I think he has to do it. I think he has to just, like, send. Thing is, you don't have to go into the lady. Like, you can let it survive, and then Drew goes to 18 next turn.
when
but
you're already, you're already too close
Seems
to
a
the
little
finish.
scary. Seems a little malicious, mean, and scary to me. And as such, that card is going to go into the inkwell. How is Jake going to sequence this? Everything into the
triple
lady.
challenge.
Yeah. I don't think he has a choice, and there's the spooky side. Drew knew it was coming. That enchanted version is beautiful, by the way,
yeah,
I have to
it
say.
hits the camera so nicely, that pumpkin. Woo.
So Jake has been able to stabilize the board, isn't able to play anything else himself, and Drew...
Lady, Miss Park Avenue. Finally, some cards in the discard for us to get
Yes.
back. That is a top deck. That's our first top deck for Drew that we get to see.
100%.
Right now.
And literally only able to get back that one decisive dog, because those were the only things in the discard, the decisive dog and the Miss Park Avenue. So we get one of those back. There's an Ursula. It's going to reveal a Vision and a Clarabelle.
So still Ursula not getting anything out of Jake's hand. As a villain fan, she's not doing her job very well.
She's not. She truly isn't. But as a song enthusiast, I think I respect Ursula, but I don't have to like her.
That's fine.
No, she's the G. We love a bit of Ursula. I love me songs, man. I'm still upset from all the B preps I have lost to Ursula's in the past. That's my problem. That's my problem with her.
I was probably one of the people that got a B prep out of your hand with an Ursula.
Of course you were. Develop your brain. And he's just going to pack it up. And we are going to be going to a game 3, Z-Bex.
All right, here we go. We knew that dogs would have a strong opportunity to take a game and take us to game 3 here. And here we go. That means Jake is going to be back on the play. How do you feel about Emerald Sapphire being on the play for this third game?
Yeah, I mean, just the fact that it's so important, right? Because
it is.
Jake will play he will link on turn 1 and play either a develop or nothing, and then Drew gets to play his 1-drop, and then immediately Jake is into the turn 2 ramp, assuming we find a turn 2 ramp. So we saw in game 1 that one turn ahead was exactly what Jake needed to be able to come out on top. On the draw, I think it would have been a very different game. So Jake has proven that this is possible on the play.
Absolutely. And for Drew, it also is possible on the draw. We have seen the dogs come back before, so don't count him out just because Jake is going first this time. He could have just as speedy of a hand if we get multiple tramps.
I do see that Daisy, though, for Drew in hand. Again, game 1 was a Daisy followed by a Daisy Lady, so a very aggressive start, but Jake was still able to take that game.
Yeah, so we'll see if he goes with the same play again. And again, we see Under the Sea in Drew's hand. Let's get rid of it. We don't want it early on.
Yeah, maybe you would keep it in the mirror. Because there can be some very interesting plays where you can play Under the Sea by turn 4 if you're using, you go 1-drop into 2-drop into Lady, Family, Dog, and then play another 2-drop. And if these 2-drops are Singer-4s, which they can be, then that can be a really nice line. But this is not the matchup where you want to be starting with it. We want all gas, no brakes, Yaramin!
Exactly.
Exactly that.
And especially with Daisy Duck being uninkable, I didn't get a chance to see quite how many cards he was able to ink, but we want to make sure that we have something just to throw into our inkwell. So let's make sure Under the Sea is one of those that we just recycle for a different card.
100%. Jake on the play. This is game 3, round 3 at Disney Lorcana Challenge here in Richmond, Virginia.
Both players undefeated currently.
Undefeated. Prince Philip vanquishes your foes into the inkwell and no turn 1 play, which again I think is what you want to be doing. You don't want to have to play a Develop Your Brain on turn 1 because that's one less card that you can ink, and if the Develop Your Brain is finding you a good card, you don't want to ink that card. So on the play, just ink, pass. As long as we've got turn 2 ramp, we are Gucci.
Well, and especially with how many Daisy Ducks Donald's Date we did see in the first game, Jake knows that he might be able to use that to his advantage.
Yeah,
it's almost like card draw that you didn't include in your deck list.
100%. 100%. This Daisy Duck is that double-edged sword. Will that come in hand? I think in game 1 we saw every card be a character, which is kind of wild because this Emerald Sapphire deck has a lot of non-character cards, right? The Sails, the Malicious, Mean and Scaries, the You're Welcomes,
Spooky Sight,
list goes on.
Visions of the Future.
So quite unfortunate for Drew in that game 1 that he, this Daisy would not stop giving away prizes.
Yeah. And after Sail the Azurite Sea, we see a Donald Duck Perfect Gentleman going into the Inkwell, just setting up his next turn, ready to go.
Drew with a wide grip, and it looks like there are at least a couple of 1-drops in hand. There is the Bobby, not really what we're looking for. We want some ladies, we want some daisies. We're going to take that quest. Let's get information first, Zebex.
Yes.
Let's see what our opponent is going to find.
Well, it's a Clarabelle Clumsy Guest, which if he doesn't have it at this point, then he'll have something to shift into the larger Clarabelle, but it wasn't too malicious, mean, or scary.
No, not too bad. That Clarabelle tripping over off the top of the deck and falling into Jake Quincy's hand. We do love her, though.
We do. She'll have her moment on the dance floor.
And again, just getting the information before committing to any other plays, right? That is absolutely the way to sequence. That card off the top of the deck might not have made a difference to what Drew wants to play here, but every little bit of information can be very important. We're going to
Absolutely. And let's get a little bit more information, please. We've got Mowgli Man Cub coming down again. And this time, we do have at least one song we can take. You're welcome. Bye-bye, Maui. We don't want to see you disrupting any of our dogs. We would draw cards.
It's Jake's choice. So Jake gets to choose which action he wants to discard from his hand. So there was that Spooky Sight, choosing to hold on to that. And again, Jake lost game 2, but it was still an important piece, right? And Jake is on the play this time, so I think that makes sense to hold on to that, especially because if Drew follows up next turn with an Ursula, this You're Welcome is going to be taken away anyway, so I like that choice from Jake.
Well, and that's probably the biggest difference between Mowgli, Man Cub, and Ursula. One gets a song where you're getting to choose, and Mowgli, your opponent gets to choose. They're both at that same slot, at a 2-drop slot. Drew gets to use both of them in his deck, which feels really good, probably having 8 copies of Hand Disruption.
And if you've got both, you can, depending on what your matchup, if you're expecting to see more songs or actions, etc., right, you can make that choice from there. So I love Mowgli.
And coming down on Jake's side, we do see, again, Cinderella Dream Come True. We love that to get the extra ramp here. Continue putting cards into the Inkwell.
Under the Sea off the top of the deck there, Zebex.
Ooh.
And another one.
Another one. And currently, I mean, you're probably not going to use it when there's only one character out there. We really want to get more value, at least 2. And maybe Drew would consider, since the first game, not using it, throwing it into the discard. Didn't benefit him getting the victory in that first game.
That one in his hand anyway.
Which can kind of be painful because you want to have cards to ink, as I was saying earlier. So we got rid of it while we were altering our hand, and then it just came right back.
Get him out of there.
Ursula's playing some tricks. She actually is up to her villainy.
Love it. I love to see it. Yeah, no, and Under the Sea, again, not really for this matchup. You can find spaces where it's nice, like if there are 1-drop Clarabelles on board and things like that. And of course, the Cinderella has 2 strength. But
you'd much prefer to see it in a matchup with a lot lower cost characters, lower strength.
And Jake's going into his 6 ink turn anyway, so he's more likely just to be playing big character after big character from here on anyway. So I don't think Under the Sea is going to be all that impactful.
That's what a 2-4-6 deck does well.
There's a Prince Philip trigger from the big prize of Daisy Duck. So that's something we could play this turn to threaten the shift Prince Philip next turn if we have it.
Prince Philip Royal Explorer also just loves to get some points on the board. In case you don't have it in hand, he does Quest for 2, a 3-2 with Ward. So really a versatile card here, especially at uncommon. That's one of my favorite things about Disney Lorcana is the number of commons and uncommons that we get to see in play. Tell me another trading card game where you are so excited about Winnie the Pooh, Honey with
You're not wrong. You are not wrong. That's Cinderella taking a very rare challenge into the Mowgli. I respect it. You need to keep Drew off. Like every law matters. Hey, every matchup, every lore matters.
Sure.
But these aggressive decks, even just 1 or 2 lore can be the difference between winning and losing. So let's clear up the board as much as we can. I don't think Cinderella was going to be doing anything too interesting other than that.
No, we really see the value for her when you play her. We don't have any shift characters with Cinderella currently.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm waiting for Sapphire to give us some 8-drop Cinderella that shifts for 6, and yeah, I'm scared. I'm scared.
We saw Drew draw a tramp off the top. Not necessarily what we need right here in this situation. What card do you think would be most ideal for Drew to draw right now?
Be prepared.
Well, okay, excuse me, what card that's legal both in this core constructed and in the colors of ink that Drew has brought to this tournament today?
Okay, that is a bigger consideration. Honestly, I kind of just want to... If the opponent has Malicious Mean into Prince Philip, like there's kind of just not a lot you can do about that. If they have the Spooky Sight, which Drew knows that Jake does have that Spooky Sight, so you can't overcommit to the board with low drops. I think you need to prioritize getting this Tramp Street Smart Dog on the board, but you need to play more characters first to be able to do that. And I think Drew recognizing that and saying, let's just put it in the inkwell. We do play this Tramp. Oh, that's pretty good. That's going to give +2 strength.
But the Enterprising Dog here, not the Street Smart Dog. We got to build up those characters, get the extra bonus if we ever find any ladies.
Absolutely. Bobby going on a little quest, taking us to 6 lore.
Hey, get that spray cheese, kid. You know, that when I saw that, I was like, oh yeah, Mom, no.
Love some goofy movie. But yeah, that Daisy, a pretty good challenge. Of course, it had to make a challenge. It was given reckless by the John Silver, but this Tramp Enterprising Dog able to make that challenge actually of benefit, getting rid of the Cinderella dream come true.
Well, and we're probably going to see Daisy challenging a lot the rest of this game because John Silver has that text where both when he is played and every time he quests, you have to give a character reckless.
You're right.
So, unfortunately, Daisy, you're not going on any more dates.
I don't think you're giving any more prizes. No more dates for you. Get home, in. Like Daisy's dad stood at the doorstep. What time do you call this? Get in this house right now. Sorry.
That's right. And Prince Philip.
Quack.
Prince Philip might be sending his goons, his malicious, mean, and scary goons over.
Goodness me.
You don't have to just worry about Dad. You have the whole gang to worry about.
The whole gang. Daisy is the most protected character in the world. Prince Philip, of course, does have that ward keyword, meaning he cannot be chosen, not something that Drew's really looking to do a lot, but ward is certainly one of the most powerful keywords in the game. John Silver on a challenge instead into the Daisy Duck, choosing just to get rid of it as opposed to taking the lore and giving that reckless. I respect it because, again, every character in play, Zebex, for Drew represents more than just what that character is. It represents paying less for your Tramp Street Smart Dog. It represents another character that can sing something like Under the Sea. So that's the thing about these Amber Emerald Dogs decks. It's not about just what the card does. Just having a character on board is very representative.
Ursula Deceiver is going to take Malicious, Mean, and Scary out. So we at least don't have that problem to worry about. Scary enough that we said, go to the discard, please.
How mean. I think Jake can handle it, though. Like, Drew at only 6 lore, he's feeling pretty good, I think.
Yeah, I would feel pretty good at 6 lore. And even though John Silver is out here, we still have a lot of cards that we can get up to. However, looking at the ink in the player's inkwell right now, those Under the Seas that we saw in Drew's hand might be hurting him right now. I don't know what turn we're on, but I only see 3 cards in his inkwell.
Yeah, that's pretty much where we stop, really. I've seen a lot of Dogs decks stick at just 2, to be honest. Again, the fact that we can play characters cheaper, like Tramp, you pay 1 less to play him if you've got a lady, and then the Street Smart Dog, you pay 1 less for every other character. So Dogs doesn't need to ink that high, which means you can keep those resources. So, yeah, Dogs doing basically what it wants to do, but a little slower than we'd have hoped. We haven't seen, like, that Lady Decisive Dog that we saw in Game 2, right, was huge. Like, that quested for at least 9 over the course of
early on in the game, too, getting it down very early.
Before Jake gets to this point where he has theoretically answers. Like, this Prince Philip is such a threat.
Both of them, they have much bigger stats, and if he does challenge any of Drew's characters, should they become exerted, they're only dealing 1 strength back, 1 damage in return, which for 5 willpower or even 2 isn't going to matter.
Isn't going to matter.
We can live on to the next turn.
It don't matter if you win by 1 law or 19 law. A win's a win.
That's right. And I think we will see potentially Prince Philip challenging Tramp or Bobby. I think I'd go for the Tramp with all of the benefits there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Tramp is the scarier character, 100%.
I mean, Bobby's cool. He's our best friend.
Oh, Bobby's cool and all that, but like...
He can hang out. He's just hanging out in the kitchen enjoying his brashies.
Hey, the best thing Bobby does is just filter through, right?
He does, yeah.
Helping you find better cards for your hand, but also fueling the discard pile. We have seen in the past some of these Amber Emerald Dogs decks, C-Bex, including cards like Circle of Life. And,
yes.
And being, again, Bobby can throw things into the discard, and then you can bring back your Street Smart
Oh, and your favorite card, Hades Infernal Schemer, coming down on Jake's side.
Who loves me some Infernal Schemer.
It's going to put Tramp out of the play for
that's
us.
Brutal.
Banished, please.
That is absolutely brutal. Completely clearing up the board. We've got 2, 4, 6 law on board. I think, assuming we play a character next turn, we're on a 3-turn clock now for Jake Quincy.
Yeah, with all characters being able to quest for 2, that's huge. And Lady, Miss Park Avenue, again, feeling a little too late here. Just like game 2.
Maybe a little bit.
I'm having some deja vu.
Yeah, very nice. That's all you did there, aren't you? Oh, Baloo.
Oh, jeez. No, it's Sapphire.
I just want Baloo. I just want to cuddle from Baloo. Leave me alone. Let me cuddle Baloo. Let me have my bare necessities. Drew deciding which 2 characters he wants to return from the discard to hand. They must be of cost 2 or less. Which
a couple of choices this time. Mowgli, probably, and absolutely. We would like to continue to disrupt Jake's hand as much as possible.
Get rid of the scaries.
Yeah, because we don't want to see another one being cast.
Yeah, I mean... Yeah. Just any time we can get rid of a song is a pretty good thing. Of course, playing that lady did cost 5. We were not able to shift her. Do we want to ink anymore? Like I said, like this deck doesn't really need to ink this high. But we are going to do it just so we can play another character this turn.
And Bobby's going to continue to filter through our deck. We're going to draw a card, discard Under the Sea, because it is not helpful. It's not going to do anything against any of the
Strong swimmers on Jake's side of the board, unfortunately for Drew.
In fact, 2 of them are on boats. I mean,
there you go, exactly. Exactly. Nailed it. Yeah, John Silver not going to be scared of a little bit of water.
No, thanks to the Azurite Sea, cards like Sail the Azurite Sea. We have quite a nautical theme here for the Emerald Sapphire. And Hades from the underworld, underwater, singing your welcome. He's going to choose his own prince. Why do you do that?
Of looking for resources here. I think Jake probably isn't happy with his hand, isn't able to do anything to this lady. Okay, you could have played your welcome, give some extra resources to Drew, but I think Jake's just out of resources himself. He needs to find more removal, more Hades, maybe find some malicious means, maybe not those 2 Clarabelles.
No, Clarabelles are not going to do it.
But at least we're digging through the deck, right? And hopefully the next card is a bit more high impact. But he does have other cards in hand.
Yeah, it looks like 1 jump ahead for some more ramp, more potential.
Of the bread line.
That's right. Those street rats certainly know how to work the market.
John Silver considering going on a quest here, and of course the Pick Your Fights ability. Man, I love Treasure Planet. It's such a goated film. But yeah, Pick Your Fights, not only on play but on quest, giving Reckless to a character.
That's right, to Lady, because we want to get her exerted.
Of course we do.
Because we can easily take her out as long as she's not ready.
Yeah, I think, again, she will... There's a choice here for Drew, right? He can either trade into the John Silver, or he can put that challenge into the Hades, which would mean that they would both survive. I think I'd rather get rid of the John Silver,
Me too. Me too. I like trading a character for a character, a card for a card, and that ability that John Silver has, making Drew challenge every turn with 1 character. That's not what Dogs does. They don't challenge very well. They like to run around and play.
They're all bark, no bite.
Exactly.
There's that Lady Family dog followed up by the Ursula. Let's get a peep.
And we do have a couple of actions, but no songs. So out of our Ursulas and Mowglis for Drew, they just haven't quite matched up with the cards Jake has had in hand.
Yep, the spooky site revealed.
And we do have, ironically, Mowgli Man Cub played as well, so we did at least get 1 card out of the hand.
Yeah, and Jake choosing to get rid of that Sail the Azure at Sea, and Drew does choose to take that line of Lady into John Silver. I think that's the right decision.
We approve of that, absolutely.
I think that's right. Questing with Clarabelle,
yeah,
going
get
to
some
5
more points
lore.
up there.
And a big
one,
turn. Yeah.
Spooky Sight. Let's get all of those characters into the inkwell, please.
Be gone, doggies. Get home.
And I really like Spooky Sight as opposed to a card like Ink Geyser here because Dogs doesn't have a chance to come back. So is this a card? I've seen Spooky Sight maybe once at my store champs this past weekend.
I think it's a must include for a lot of the Sapphire
One of our
decks.
newer cards that we got from Whispers in the Well, which is really nice to see all of these new cards showing up today in our Disney Lorcana Challenge here in Richmond. Round 3, Game 3. 1 character on board apiece. We're pretty close to tie game, 7 lore to 8 lore. However, it's not that simple.
It is not.
Emerald Sapphire slightly ahead here, but we do see a Daisy Duck Donald State coming down. We're trying to race. We're trying to get ahead here.
Do we have a follow-up? Of course, a plethora
Yes, Webby Vanderquack.
Plethora of ink for Drew, which is not common for Dogs, but certainly taking advantage of it the best we can. Down comes that Webby. On play, you get +1 strength to a character. And there's the Basil that's going to bounce back the Daisy.
Oh, geez, that was brutal for Drew. Basil, we love a great mouse detective. And another character who can quest for 2 over on Jake's side.
And will consistently discard cards from Drew's hand if the Basil quests. And there's the full art version.
I love that enchanted. It's so beautiful.
Me too. The schematic, like a map or like a
page from a book.
Yes, and again, a lot of inventors came out in that set, so almost like an inventor schematic. So I love it, mate. I love it.
Yes.
Hades quested us to 9, so as you said, Zebex, we're pretty neck and neck. Drew a ton of ink, though. We're going to play back down that Daisy Duck. He's definitely going to be incentivized to empty his hand as much as possible.
Yeah, because anything else is going to be thrown into the discard.
By the Basil, yeah. Unless he keeps his hand wide enough that there's better odds that you just don't discard the good card in your hand, right?
Right. And we're going to see a Tramp Enterprising Dog come down. A nice bonus there.
Yep, giving +4 strength to the Lady, meaning she's able to cleanly answer the Hades, and survive.
And look at that, by going after John Silver the turn before, biding ourselves a little bit of time to get our spaghetti friend, as we see here on the Enchanted of Tramp Enterprising Dog. We're ready to share a plate again. We're ready to take out those deities of the underworld.
So Drew may be mounting a comeback here, going nice and wide, leaving just a Basil on the opposing board, which can, of course, make a challenge into Lady, but that would be a trade. Could take the Webby, but Webby isn't really as big of a problem as Lady, but we are going to take that line, I think.
Yep, let's at least get another character off the board. Baker, as you said earlier, he wants to continue reducing the number of characters that Drew has access to, and Cinderella Dream Come True, followed up by Prince Royal Explorer. We are setting up to get more ink into our inkwell. We are ramping, we are drawing cards.
Was that a Vanquisher of Foes off the top of the deck? We played Prince Philip, we played Cinderella Dream Come True. That was nearly all of our ink. We inked the 1 card in our hand to draw 1 card. If that was
into the combo?
I might be wrong. I might be hyping us up for no reason, but the art there looked a little bit like the Vanquisher of Foes, and if that is the case, that is going to be pretty big. Of course,
and
it would only remove the Lady.
Lullaby.
Yep, -2 strength to a character and draw a card.
That will allow us to
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No trigger off the Daisy. I think that's the first time this has happened so far.
That's good for Drew. Finally, something going a little bit towards the Dog's favor.
I'm not sure if it even was a Philip. Oh, it was a Basil. Okay. And we find was that a Sail off the top of the deck there? This Basil will be able to bounce something back to hand.
Which really needs to happen. 16 lore. If he doesn't take a character off the board right now.
I missed the Raja.
I missed the Raja as well. Our devoted protector. He is bodyguard. So if there's any challenges that are going to be made, it's going to go to Raja first.
8 lore on board, Zebex for Drew. So Quincy needs to remove 5 lore from this board right now.
Which is at least a minimum of 3 characters with Lady and Daisy Duck questing for 2.
But you got to get rid of Raja first if you're doing it through challenges. And we have no Hades. We're going to vision. Maybe we can find
something.
We find the Philip, but we no longer have the ink to play it, and there wasn't even a minute.
We see, You're Welcome, another Malicious, Mean, and Scary. He's going to take a moment to think here and see if any of these cards will be good enough to get the other characters off out of this position. Do you see a line?
He has the ink. Because the 2 have been exerted for Vision of the Future. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we have the ink to ship this Prince Philip, but we don't have the malicious, mean, and scary. So it's going to mean very little. But you've still got to do it right.
He does have the malicious, mean, and scary, but he can't cast it.
That's one of the Vision cards. Yeah. That's not in his hand. That's one he's still choosing.
Right. Thank you.
What he wants off the Vision of the Future.
Wouldn't that be nice if Visions of the Future just let you put all 5 cards into the hand? That would be a little bit too broken.
Wow, draw 5? What do you think you are, second star to the right? You can play purple if you want to do that, mate.
As we do.
Yeah, Roger is big.
Yeah.
No, he does not have that full combo. Again, the card in hand is Basil. He visioned. In this vision is a Prince Philip, Vanquisher of Foes, and a Malicious, Mean, and Scary, so we can't get both.
He's doing all of the math right now, figuring out which character can trade where.
So
probably Prince Philip going into Ursula.
Because the thing is, he needs 4 damage. So you can put the Basil into the Raja. That would be a trade, but it would get rid of it.
So the bodyguard is no longer a problem.
You can put the Cinderella into the Daisy Duck. You can put the Prince Philip into the Tramp. Then you can shift the. You shift it first. You shift first. But I just wondered.
Of foes.
Thing is, I wondered if he wanted to get more damage on the board first before doing that, though. But seeing a different line is Jake.
Well, now with Prince Philip, Vanquisher of Foes, he can challenge Raja without making a trade, without losing any characters. He can use Basil to challenge Daisy Duck. Still, Basil is around if we need any discard. That was really brilliant. I love to see Prince Philip in action here.
Absolutely, yeah. That might have been
Very
the better
heroic.
line. The line my mind was going down was like getting damage on as many of these characters as possible and then shifting so that you get a bit of the Philip sweep, as I've been calling it. But again, Jake Quincy, I imagine, has played this deck a lot recently. He's going to be very familiar with the lines, but super interesting.
And we did manage to get 3 characters off the board. Cinderella, Dream Come True, finished off Daisy Duck here, and now we've passed it back over to Drew. Here we go. Ready, set, draw. Mowgli, Man Cub. What is the 1 card left in your hand? It's just Basil. Another Basil is not going to be thrown into the discard here.
Okay, but at least the Basil can bounce back this Mowgli, and we have characters on board to deal with the rest of it. So Jake's at least got a turn here. This is
right on the line here with Drew at 19 lore. It all comes down to this turn. Who's going to be able to take this match? This is game 3.
Me and Z-Bax are on the edge of our seats. We are locked in.
To the table.
Shout out to you, JDC. We are locked in on another level. This is tense. 19 lore. Jake will get 1 more turn at least because we can bounce this Mowgli back. Maybe we vision first to see if we can find a better line, but there will be at least 1 more turn in this game.
That's right.
What's he playing with? Oh, he's still just deciding what he wants to take off this Develop Your Brain. We know there will be at least 1 more turn, but Jake still has quite a way to go. 3, 4, 5, 6 lore on board. Oh,
and I didn't quite get to see what cards he was debating between. Develop Your Brain, quite hidden from the camera right now.
He's playing his cards close to his chest. Ooh, this is tense. I don't like
We're right on the wire here. I love it. I love the drama. But for the players right here, they would rather it be a little bit cleaner.
Finds the vision off of the Develop.
Let's keep looking. Clarabelle, Mother Knows Best, Donald Duck, Tipo. Not quite what we were looking for here. Unless, now what card do you think he's going to keep from this Visions of the Future?
I would say Mother off the top of my head, just because, again, you can deal with this board, and then what you want to worry about the next turn, right? You know you can buy 1 turn, but then Drew is going to draw a card, he's going to play the Mowgli and another character. So you need as much removal as you can possibly get. Develop finding a couple of Basils.
Yeah, amazing the number of cards that he's been able to dig through his deck in this turn here. And it looks like he didn't quite find what he was looking for. Is that the concession from Jake?
I guess he used all his ink so that he wasn't able to play the Basil on the Mowgli that turn, or maybe just Jake sees the writing on the wall. But nonetheless, that is going to be it. Drew taking it 2-1. What did you think of that game, Z-Bex?
Well, that was
your first official cast.
I
a banger, right?
It. Yes, and dogs actually